I do not have any distraction right now. I'll pass it to Rex.
So, my intentions is to kind of, be here at the it's the first transparency meeting I go to, so kind of see how the ball rolls here, meet some of the other guys that I haven't been able to meet, and maybe discuss how we're going to do the standardization pieces.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, let's pass it to Bea.
Yeah, thank you guys. Hello everyone. So yeah, my intention, I think it would be basically the same thing as Rex, and also see if there's any other transparency issue that there has to be talked about. So yeah, just listen in and participate. And I don't have any distractions. So I will pass it to friendly amendment.
Hi. Sorry, I just came here. Is there a question? Is this like a self intro?
Yeah, no, intentions and distractions for the call.
Oh, intention discussions for the call. Thank you. My name's Hazel. This is my first time here. I just want to learn more about the transparency working group. I'm potentially interested in joining in the working group, or like making contributions to it. I just got onboarded to TC last week, and transparency as a practice is something I'm really interested about, like as a philosophy. So I'm just here to learn more.
Cool. Happy to have you here. Yeah, let's pass it to Ivy.
Thanks, Zep. Yeah, my intention mainly is to talk about the transparency survey, and also see where I can support you, Zep, on the things that we have to accomplish in the working group. Yeah, distraction. I have a lot of other things to do as always, but I'll stay focused on this call. But during this call, I pass it back to you, Zep, too.
Cool. Yeah, like the first thing, like we are almost done with the funding proposal. Just yeah, I don't know, Rex, if you have any update on the budget for the data standardization and the work stream there. That's the only piece missing right now to present this budget to the community.
Okay, so on the budget, this kind of thing of asking for it is kind of new to me. So what's what are you expecting? What's missing from this piece?
What's missing is like, what's what we're going to do to standardize the data and present a budget to the community so they can approve or disapprove, but then also say more or less how are we going to use those funds we're asking for.
Okay, so what you're saying is we're missing. So the kind of things we talked about kind of a scope of work and so on. Are you saying that is necessary? So we need to kind of do the scope of work, and then we can podemos acotar so we can narrow down the budget from that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, we could also start working without the budget, but since the transparency working group is doing the proposal right now, I feel it's like the right moment to go make it together. So we use the conviction from the transparency working group, right? And then it's easier to pass the proposal. Otherwise, like if we make it like as a separate work stream, it might be harder to pass. But that's it. That's the only reason, like that I think we should make it together.
Okay.
I don't know, like maybe we can sit down during this week and get that done. Do you think we could do that, like me and you on an hour together?
So I think that yes, so we can sit down an hour, maybe Is there like a particular day where this needs to be presented, so we do it before that, or
No,
or
but
do we need
actually,
to check
like,
it next Monday as when it's finalized?
no, I mean, since it has to go to advice process first, and then on conviction voting, ideally we have it, during this week we accomplish it, and we don't need to wait for the next Monday. I think that's something like I already made this proposal talking with Ivy, and the only thing here missing is like your work stream, so we can, yeah, like we don't need to sync again. Like, and I also can chat with Ivy at any moment. But I think that's something like we can figure out, me and you, and then, yeah, make it happen.
Okay, so pencil it on maybe Thursday, and then we can just
Yeah,
go from there.
let's pick a date right now. It says Thursday. Yeah, Thursday's good. Which time?
Any. So
What about at the same time that orientation, right after the
okay,
community? Do you think that's
okay,
good?
yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a good time.
Okay.
So 7. This is your time, right? 7 to 8 p.m. So it's
Yeah.
my time is 6 to 7. Okay, nice.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Can you tell me your?
Is Marco at mrgt.me.
Marco M?
Es marco@mrgt.me.
MRGT. NE. Like this?
M-E.
Me.
That's right.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's done.
Nice.
Great. Okay, yeah, transparency survey. That's yours, Ivy.
Thank you, Zeb. Because I have this issue on ZenHub that's been open for so long already, and we haven't really progressed on that. I think it was the initial plan for this survey is to create it before we do the audit, so we know what the community wants to see around the transparency at the TEC. So but now the audit is done. I want to know if we still want to do the survey, because I feel like it's important. Like, we are only seeing transparency as from the inside, right? But we don't know how the outsiders, or like people outside from the transparency working group, how they see transparency in general in TEC. Like, is there something that they want to see more? Is there something that we're not communicating more around the TEC? So yeah, I don't know how we want to construct that survey. If it should be, because the initial purpose of this is for the audit, right? But now that the audit is done, what will be the purpose of this, the main purpose of this survey, and what we want to, what we want to know about.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, like, we're getting feedback from the community. Like right now, that the sample working group kick out, like they are, okay, this data is cool, but we want, it would help us like to show it in this different way. And we, like, as soon as people need some kind of difference, they reach out, and we change the way we present the data. So I think that should be okay. So in my opinion, like, we could just close the issue unless you think you have like some goal on mind. But I feel like, now, like, the sample kick out, like, they are monitoring like us, like in somehow, like, mutual monitoring, like what we are doing is something that sample needs. So they make sure like what we're doing is good, and then the community is aware. Like, if what we're doing is not good, then the sample will say, oh, what, but we need this differently. And then and then we just sync up together, and then we change things. And yeah, I think like now with sample kicking the project, it's like they are our monitors in somehow. Like, they check what we are doing because they need it, right? Like, it's other works are, even if we're doing it, like, they are not fully checking it just because they don't need the data, but now sample needs it. So in my opinion, like, that's good enough. But like if you think like we should keep it or do it something like, yeah, I think like it's great if you push that project
agree.
out.
I mean, I think if you still want to do a survey to have not only Sampo but the broader folks, the broader people, you can add like a small like 5-question open question survey at the end of the when's the next audit report? That one's in. You could add like a very small kind of open answer questionnaire and just like what did you enjoy, what would you like to see more of, and something as simple as that. I'm not sure whether kind of that's an alternative.
Yeah, I actually love that idea. Like we make the
Yeah.
audit and we include the survey there.
I feel like it doesn't have to be in the audit, but it can be like a general survey. You can post it in the forum or in Discord, and
No,
yeah, like
what about like we use this newsletter to distribute the audit. That's the marketing group doing it. In this same email, like they have the audit, and then they have a link. Oh, if you want to comment or give feedback to this audit report, just click this link, and we send them to a type form or something with the
no, but
questions.
the survey that I'm hoping to do is not just focused on the audit, but transparency in general.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, but we can also add that in the newsletter. But not. I think not everybody in the community is in our email database. So I think it's also a good idea to put it on Discord or in the forum if you will do the survey. But I like the idea of having like 5 open-ended questions and yeah, like what do you want to see more in transparency, what is missing, or what do you like the most. We don't have to ask only about the what's lacking, but maybe what they also uh, what they appreciate from the transparency working. So yeah, but my question is, where do we want to post it? I suggest Discord and forum, and then also in the email. But if you have other ideas, open to it.
Yeah, totally. The only thing is like, like if we are presenting something and then we're like, hey, check this out, like check this survey. Like otherwise, like, if you send a newsletter, oh, look, make this survey, it looks like kinda spammy. So I'm kinda scared of that. Like I don't want we be a spammers or something.
Can we have like a
I
type form and then just distribute the type form in like just send it once on Discord?
Yeah, I mean Discord's fine for them, but I wouldn't have used the newsletter for a survey. That's what I was
No, I
trying to
mean
say.
when we you will not use the newsletter. I'm sorry, not the newsletter, but in the audit, you said that we will include the
Yeah,
audit in the newsletter, maybe at the last
yeah,
part of
that'd be
that.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like a little statement, like if you
You,
also have feedback about transparency, please answer the type form.
you can also add a question on where did you hear about this survey, or where are you coming from, and have a multiple choice of like where these people are actually communicating with you. That's more of a communications thing, I guess. But yeah, it sounds like I didn't know there was an email thread. Like my point of contact was kind of from Gideon to Zepti, right? I didn't know much about transparency beforehand. I'm not sure kind of how many people know about this working group and how many people have a kind of some proficiency in what its scope is. Maybe
I mean,
reach out to
the,
those
the,
people as
the,
well.
the newsletter is from the marketing group. It's not from the transparency. Like what we're doing basically, I think
Okay.
yeah, I think actually it'd be nice like just to introduce to friendly amendment what we're doing on transparency. So basically we started like just recording all the meetings, and then we started, taking care of the credential management. So we have like we audit like basically who have access to what, and all the, like we use a credential management app. We use Dashlane to share credentials with contributors. We have like some kind of process where a new contributor needs access to something like imagine like, okay, Rex needs access to the Dune dashboard because he's going to apply some changes, and then we make a poll in the stewards chat, and if in 24 hours no one blocks it, we share the credential to the new contributor. That's one thing. Like we started like auditing access and for the whole commons. And then the next thing we were doing is like making like this audit, and then with this audit, like it has so many things, like multi-sigs of working groups. How are we spending the money? Our processes or decision tracking document. Do I have it here? Yeah. Yeah. You are updating this one, right, Ivy?
Yes, but I still have to update this. I'm so sorry, Zeb.
Okay, but
But this is on my Zen. Yeah, on my
okay,
to-do
cool.
list.
Okay, so yeah, basically like we monitor like all the decisions that the commons is having, advice process, single choice, right? Like all our voting mechanisms. This is a short explanation that Ratio made of what every decision is made for, and the rules. Like when we use top voting, these are the rules.
Thank you so much for the explanation. I'm just wondering, where can people access these documents, or is there a place where?
Yeah, they're on the TC source, the GitHub, maybe on the other browser. GitHub. Wait. Oh, where's the GitHub? Oh, here. Yeah, and I created this TC source link where you can access like, okay, transparency, what transparency is working on, and then you see all the resources. And this document I should share with you should be in planning. Oh, that's Stewart, sorry. Transparency. Like here, the decision tracking document is this one.
Thank you so much.
And then that's probably not, should be here too. Let me see. Database access. Yeah, this access document. This is like, okay, who have access to Medium? So it's Craig, Griff, Jeff, Jess, Juan, Nate, Suganta, and now Gideon. I mean, we updated once a month or every 2 months with Ivy, so Gideon was not updated. But yeah, this is like who have access to each platform, who have access to the 2FA, and all that. But yeah, basically, like, you can see all the documents here. You see like the Dune dashboard. It's not here, but it's also not a document. But we also created this dashboard just to monitor, like the stuff like we had include then after in the audit, like the prices of the token, how much holders we have, circulating supply. This is like how the tokens are distributed. So, and this is cumulative. So like 50% of the tokens it's held by 16 people. That's also because we also have so little. We have almost hatches and very not much people yet. So one of the goals right now is increase the token holders. But that's something like Sampo is working on. It's not like transparency goal, is more Sampo. We can also see like data basically. Like one that's cool is this one, like treasuries of the multi-sig. You can what transparency have. Oh. So yeah, that's the money that transparency has right now. And here you can also see how the money was being used. Like transparency asked for like 16K, then all these distributions. This also is more detailed in the audit report, like we make every 3 months. Like you can see, like these $80 where they came from. But this is on the audit. Let me I can find the link on the forum. Yeah, basically like the document. Yeah, I know. I feel like it's very hard. Like for me, it's easy because I know where everything is. But for a newcomer, actually that's just something like that. I don't know what's your background or your intentions, but that's something like we could, like aim to improve. Like make the documentation more accessible to new people and have it all more in a centralized way. Maybe updating this thesis source would also work. But yeah, what I was going to. Oh yeah, the audit. So basically, like we have this section on the forum. Before we were doing audits for working groups, but we thought that was not very helpful. So we decided to make like a bigger report. So we have like. Yeah, we have this report for the whole commons. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to go on the details on every detail, but basically, like we have like processes, votes. This is like an overview of how the commons is using the funds, and then we go more into the detail of each proposal, like gravity. Okay, and then you see like treasury manager is one role, education activities, and then you here see how the money was spent. This is the money like Gravity have right now, and yeah, this is for all the working group. Like for example, the Consilence library at 31 of March they didn't use any funds, so we also put that here, and then basically like all the working groups. Then we made a short video of 15 minutes explaining like the dashboard, so people like sometimes it's so much information that is intimidating to people, so maybe if they have a video just to look it with them, it's easier. The governance tokens, and these resources, and basically that's it. But basically that's what we're doing on transparency. I don't know if you think like you want to, like basically the way we work in the commons is like, okay, I think that could be done better, and then you take care of it. Like we are a democracy, so everyone is doing their best, and if you see something like, oh, I think this could be better this way, then you normally make advice process inside the working group or in the forum, or depending on what you want to change or do. And then after advice process, like you can do it. You have your own agency to do whatever you think it's better for the commons. And normally for funding we ask for conviction voting, and then for cultural decisions we use a snapshot with a certain parameters that it's on this document. I don't know if you have any question. Mm-hmm.
No, I just said got it. Thank you for the explanation.
Oh, great. And also feel free to DM me, Ivy, or I feel anyone. If you DM anyone, like I feel like anyone will respond you nicely. So feel free to ask any question at any moment. And that's it. Okay. Yeah, the next topic is. Oh, sorry.
No, that's awesome. I didn't know there were so many sources. So thanks for showing.
Oh, great! Yeah, great. The next topic actually is this Dune challenges and the data standardization. I don't know if you want to share what you've been working on, Rex.
Okay, so at Sampo we the requirements of what we're doing are still a bit broad, but essentially what we're trying to do is not work from the kind of the audit reports, the Dune dashboards, and any other on-chain information that we can find to kind of see how far we can go into the future without getting any funding or any extra income, and from that point kind of begin our income making processes. Because what Sampo is about is basically trying to find alternative sources of funding for the TC into the future. Now, I think we're going to add one or two diagrams which we thought could be useful, and then export that data into an Excel to do some trends, because as far as I'm aware, Dune doesn't have trend functionality. I don't have anything to show on the Dune dashboard today because I'm still at work. Only going to finish in like half an hour, so I'm glad that the people at work are letting me take this little time off. But on the data standardization, I feel like that's something that we should discuss more in depth. So the idea behind that is, in Sampo originally, we wanted to analyze kind of the TEC spending a bit further than the working group level. So delve deeper than kind of per working group, and be able to create aggregates for, I don't know, how much money are we spending in salaries, or how much money are we spending per.
I have a question. Like,
yes,
we cannot do that with the audit itself. Like, but I feel like the
yes,
problem with the audit
you
is
can
like
do.
Okay, but I just
You can
realized.
do with the audit report if you grab all of the tables and you put them on a on an Excel, and then so in order to do kind of the level we were hoping, is you grab all of the tables on the without talking to any other working group and just doing it manually yourselves. It would be that grabbing all of the tables from the audit report, manually creating categories for the inflow outflows. So kind of going from the description and creating it's called metadata, like standardized tags that we can add to each of the inflow and outflows to then categorize. Right, so the tag would be, is this a fixed cost or a variable cost? Is this spending on salaries, or we came up with like 15. Anak, who isn't here today, found some good categories we could base ourselves off of. I'll send the diagram on the transparency working group once I'm home. So yes, it's kind of, is this a fixed cost, variable cost? What type of spending is this? You could even, if we wanted to delve deeper, you could even also have the wallet address on there, and then kind of see that would help kind of see if there's any changes to the system that need to be made, or if there's any kind of game theory, like exploiting being in many working groups and kind of taking rewards from all of them and stuff like that.
We were thinking, instead of putting addresses, like what, like, I mean, of course, like it still need to be a vote, but just putting the names, right? Like, okay, instead of saying like, no, this wallet that no one's easily know who it is, like, okay, we say Step is making this amount, I is making this amount, and Bear, Rex, and Friend is making this amount, and then it's more transparent in a way, right? Because addresses, like, yeah, some privileged people know which everyone address is, but then some others don't.
Yeah, of course. So you could have, so this, I think, we need to, we can keep on kind of talking about some other ideas, but I think ultimately we do need to and I'm happy to continue after this. But we do need to set up like a process of like maybe you, Bear, I, whoever else wants to work in this proposal to determine how far we're going to go with the scope. We need to like set out a Google Docs and grab all of the discussions we've been having in private together, pull them all together, and put them into something cohesive that we can like plan out in maybe do it in 3 weeks or a month or so.
I think this can be easily done in a cultural proposal. That's something I could do. Like, but what I need to know is like, we need consensus, and I think something we could discuss right now is like, having like, we can make like the working groups work in a way, like okay, all the working groups need to follow this gravity shit, or whatever. We create one and everyone have to use this shit. Then we have to make a forum proposal, so everyone is aware. But then this also adds bureaucracy on our working groups. That's something I'm normally against. In this case, that I could understand, and I think like, of course, like it will make the transparency work so simple. And that's something like even governments are doing. Like, since we are creating commons for public goods, that's we're like kind of doing government's job, right? Like in the commons, not in the transparency working group, but in the whole commons. So have like some transparency practices can be healthy for the commons, but I feel like this is a topic, like could generate this discussion. And I put actually hear from everyone in this call, like what's your position? Like, do you think like all the working groups should follow a method so we can data standardize the data and it's easier for us? Or do you guys think like working groups should still, as long as they are transparent, that's fine, and then we take care of making the tables for ourselves, and it's a job that the transparency working group has to do, and not everyone in the community? I think like both options could work for us, but I'm happy to listen from everyone. Like, I think, yeah, Rex, you could start, because like you probably have like, since you're working on that, and so then others can also see your opinion, and then hear everyone.
Sure. So, sorry if I like talk with like big words and stuff. But yeah, standardizing data basically is just giving everybody a common Excel. So every working group, give them a template, an Excel template that they can work in to give us the their inflows, outflows, budgets, and so on, and having kind of some set categories within that Excel spreadsheet, rather than kind of allowing the working groups to kind of take initiative and do as much or as little work on this Excel spreadsheet or however else they do it. From what I've been told, and please do correct me, I believe that some of the working groups we've seen do very great work. As you said, Gravity. I've seen some of the ones that Bear's shown me are pretty good. But others, such as the stewards, I believe don't even have an Excel spreadsheet by themselves, and they post their spendings on Discord. So ultimately, this makes the work for transparency very difficult. It's not going to scale. That's my opinion. So it may be fine now that we have 10, but when we have 20 or 30 working groups, what happens then? How much time are we going to spend on? How much domain-specific knowledge are we going to need to kind of go through and have to dedicate some time to each of the working groups to just get this data, not to analyze it or be able to compare it to the on-chain data and so on. So that's kind of my opinion as to why we should carry on and get some consensus within transparency and within all of the working groups as to how best to approach this. I'm not sure if
feel free to pass it.
Anyway. Yeah, Bear. I know you have done quite a lot on this, so you're yes. Go ahead and if you have any ideas.
Yeah, thank you, Rex. So yeah, I personally I also think that it's worth doing this. I think it can bring more benefit to the overall community than harm. I wouldn't see like much more of extra work. Probably on the contrary, I think it will make things easier for all the working groups and the contributors, because it will be easier for them just to record what they are doing, and even for them to organize themselves. I think it will be easier for them to know how much money they have, how are they spending it, like from a working group's perspective. I think it will also be quite helpful to have that clarity. And yeah, and for transparency and for sample and for the analysis that wants to be done on all of this, it will be even better, right? It will be easier to track and to have a look on. And I also think it's really important to think about, like the long term, like when the TC starts growing more and more, like Rex was saying, more working groups are joining and more people is joining, like that will add a lot of complexity to all the finances and all the processes that we take on. So I think right now we're in a really good moment to tackle that and to like create and set really strong bases and really clear procedures in what we do, so we don't get confused in the future. So that's my opinion. I will pass it on to Ivy. I just wanted to ask you, Septi or Rex. So this initiative will be taken by the transparency working group or the sample working group, or will it be like a collaboration between the two, or how are we managing it?
Go ahead, Sam. You're better. You can explain it better than I can.
I was just going to say at some point, like I was chatting with Gideon, and probably like the approach will be like Sampo is going to be like the transparency client somehow. Like they will ask for the data, but we are going to produce the data. So basically, like this work stream is going to be done under transparency, but Sampo will give feedback. Like probably for the next, I would also need this, and that, and then like what I was telling before, like somehow like in this mutual monitoring thing, like Sampo is monitoring us.
Right. Okay. But like the actual like actions and like the creation of the formats and the reports and whatever we do, that will be like taken by, let's say, transparency, correct?
Yeah, and basically it's a work stream like going to be done by me, Rex, and probably Uber. I think like you also very involved in that thing. So yeah, basically it's like we, and of course, like if Ivy, your friend, want to join the work stream, you're happy to welcome.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, I got it then. Thank you, Septi. So yeah, I'll pass it now to Ivy.
Thanks, Bear. For me, I like the idea of standardizing the data, and for working groups, and I like what Bear said, that it creates more benefits than harm. I think it's easier for the working groups if they will have this template, and it will help them be more organized. And but I think what we can do is make sure or consult among the, because I know that different working groups have different kinds of budget, right? For example, I think SoftGov, they don't do hourly compensation. I think they have like fixed project compensation. So I think what we can do is like find out from the working groups what exact data we want to standardize, and if they all agree on those data that we want to include in this process. And probably consult with the working groups, what data we want to standardize. It's common among all the working groups. My feedback.
I want to comment something, and I think like another thing like we should do is like if we end up standardizing the data, like we should have this thing somehow in the proposal for conviction voting. Like every time someone go to a conviction voting form, like we send them this spreadsheet, and then we say like, okay, just copy the spreadsheet and paste it, blah blah blah. So it's in every proposal. So because otherwise, I feel like it's very hard. Like there are people, for example, like Omega people, they are focusing on their work, and sometimes they are not joining like all the calls for stewards and all these things. So it would be hard like for the transparency working group just to contact all the people. So maybe like we can also put it into the proposal. And I also think we actually need to do that. After hearing Rex like saying other way won't scale. This is the way to scale. So yeah, that's true. But yeah, back to you, Ivy.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea, Zepti. And I can support you if you need support in that.
Great.
Yeah. So I guess that's the four of us, right? I don't know if Friendly, if you have any thoughts. I know you're new, so but
Hi,
all the
my
more.
Wi-Fi is not super great. I'm just trying to listen in, and I hope to contribute like in the future. But sorry, my Wi-Fi is a little broken.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, yeah. But one thing that we do need to establish is, so I understand that kind of how we're going to go about this. What are the steps? What goes first, right? Because obviously you want to get through the budget proposal. Now, I assume within the budget we're not going to, so kind of the talking to the working groups and so on, how kind of getting the best knowledge on how it would best benefit them to kind of standardize stuff and how far we can go and what we can include. So what they're doing is incorporated in this new standard. That stuff should go after the proposal, the budget proposal. Am I right? So, and to some extent, the scope of work needs to be broad, but within the proposal, but it doesn't need to be detailed. Like this is what we're going to be doing every week, does it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, I'm just asking because I don't know.
No, I mean, yeah, it makes sense to have the details. Like it's better for the proposal, but at the same time, like we cannot wait so much neither, right? Like I try to like if we could in that call we have on Thursday get the scope and just publish it, and like then also like we will we're actually
We
like
can have a process. We can have something.
yeah, and also like if we end up with carryovers, it's not a big deal. Like right now, in the last proposal, we asked for 16K, and we have like almost 6K of carryover, I mean, it's not a big deal, honestly. Like, you don't need to know every penny you're going to use. Like, as long as you know don't waste the funds or do something bad with those. But that's that's why like all the stewards have also reputation on stake when they make proposals and stuff, blah blah blah. So yeah, basically, like, as long as we use the funds well, and we don't need to know every detail just before. Like, I feel like it's not needed, honestly.
Okay.
Like an approximate, of course, but yeah, that's it. And it's better.
We can, yeah.
I was just going to say, like, it's better, like, if we have like some extra funds and if we are short of funds, like in a communications perspective. Like, it's always better just to say, oh look, we have this carryover, than say, oh, you know what, we need more funds. I think that's worse. So I normally prefer just to ask more money than, if we have an estimate of using, I don't know, 10 to 15 die, then we ask for 15, right? And then if we end up using only 10, we have 10, we have 5 die that we can give it back to the community.
With that, I have a question in regards to how conviction voting works. Maybe you guys can clarify it for me. So if we, let's say what we are saying, that we keep asking for the same amount of money, even though we might use less, like it happened this time, does that affect the ability for other proposals to pass easier? Like, I don't know if I explained myself well. So if we would request, instead of 16, we would request 10, let's say, would that make a difference in making it easier or harder for other proposals to also pass, like depending on the amount of money that we request? Because in my mind, like, if we are asking for more money than we probably need to, and we are not worried about like using it wrongly or anything, right? We'll just have it there in the group, right? But and that's fine. That would be good. But if that it's like affecting other working groups to pass their proposals like easier, maybe then it would be worth considering how we approach that. I don't know. That's a question that I have. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
not.
go ahead.
I just want to say that I think not directly or not exactly that's how it works. I think what affects the proposal is how we just justify the amount that we're requesting, and it's not dependent. It's not really dependent on the budget that other proposals are requesting. It's how we
No,
can
but
justify.
actually, I think what Per was saying is right. Like, if we ask for 20K, and if we ask for 20K or 25K, like, if we ask for 25K, the proposal that goes after us is going to be harder to pass. Yeah, like, for us, passing this transparency proposal will be way harder than the first one we did, just because we had more money. The more money the commons have, the easier it is to pass proposals.
But is there some data that supports that claim? Like, can we prove it? Like, it's harder to pass.
It's how conviction voting works. Like, you need because it's on the spending limit is based on percentage. So if you have 10K and you ask for 1K, you're asking for a 10%. But if you have 5K and you ask for 1K, you're asking for 20%. So this is harder to pass. And a spending limit, I think it's at 10%, if I'm not wrong. And then the conviction growth was at 2.5. I'm saying those based on memory, but basically that's it.
And if the commons pool keeps like decreasing in amount of money, then it becomes even harder, right? That's the way it works. So
yeah.
Okay, so knowing that, I don't know what you guys think, but maybe it might be worth reconsidering the amount of money that we are requesting, considering that we almost spent half of what we requested last time. I think if that's correct, like I think so. I don't know what you guys think. That's just my opinion.
I mean, my honest opinion is like the transparency working group is one of the working groups that's asking for the less funds. Like, we ask for 16K, and then Communitas and Stowers asking for 15K, Gravity also 15K for 6 months. Comes with all the proposals, they did like 60K. Like, honestly,
Like
we
we're
are
actually
very
requesting like
efficient. Yeah, I feel like we are so damn efficient. Like, we're great, in my opinion. It's
yeah.
but
No, I agree with you, like all the work and everything, but actually, if we compare it with Gravity, we are actually spending, like 32K because it's for the 6 months period, right? And we are doing like
yeah,
3 months period.
half. We're doing half, but we asked for 16K, and now we're going to ask even less just because we have carryover. So I think.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was my point. Like, maybe we had carryover. It would be good to request less. I don't know. I
Yeah,
didn't know.
yeah, basically what we said with Ivy is like, okay, imagine like we want to ask for 10K. We already have 5, so we are only asking for 5, right?
Right.
Like, we include the carryovers in the next budget. And that's
Oh,
it.
yeah. I think that would be great. Yeah, definitely.
We're almost 5 minutes before the top of the hour. I just wanted to know, like, if, especially like Bear and Ivy, like, regarding your work stream, it's any support you guys would need from me. Like, I know, like, you guys are doing like, yeah, the recordings, all the playlist. You are doing the decision tracking. The multi-sig docs, is also you doing it, or it's me? We also need to audit this credential thing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just wanted to make sure, like, you guys have all the support you need, or if you need any help, just let me know.
Yeah, like for me,
And
I think I'm good. Just like an update, I already did like since last week, or I forgot to tell you guys the council playlist. So that's done.
Oh,
And yeah,
huge! Thank you.
good.
Praise, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm good, Zepti. Thanks. But I'm not sure about the multi-sig document. I can't remember who we assigned it to. Is it on me?
Probably it's me. But the last proposal I updated was uh, the legal one, but there's nothing else, right? Like, that was the last one. Let me double check. But probably it's me, right? Honestly, like, I'll do that. But yeah, if anything, like, like, if you need support on something, let me know. And then it's also be nice, like, if we, but not this week because I have my drive license exam, but probably next week we'll do an audit on the credentials management.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I'm good actually on this.
And in regards for the data standardization work stream, what would be the next steps then? What do you guys think?
We have I mean, if you are interested, you should join the call with me and Rex on orientation next after the sprint planning, retrospective. Sorry. If you tell me
Okay.
your email, I can send you an invite. Feel free to join. If you don't want to join, that's also fine. But if you are, we are going to discuss those in Discord.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. I can. I'll send you my email, Septi. I'll DM you.
okay. Yeah, and then I think that would be it for the transparency call. Thank you, everyone.
One thing.
Oh, yeah.
I
Sure.
think before the call, we need to kind of start kind of some work so we don't go like
Yeah.
not
But
knowing anything. So I think I'll create a Google Docs and start adding all the stuff we've spoken about, and feel free to kind of add or change anything. I'm gonna try and do the same thing I did for the one for
Yeah,
Sampo.
that was
I
really good.
think
yeah, I think, like, you, Rex, if you want, like, you can be like, like the manager of this project, and I'll be there just advice process and support you on anything you need. But you can that could be like your project somehow if you're happy with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And yeah, that's it.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks a lot.
See you in the next one. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.